What is going on, Brick fans? Today I've got a really exciting review for you all. I'm going to be taking a look at the Pokemon Mega Construx Series 22 Pokeballs. So this release was actually a big surprise for me, and I'm sure for you guys as well. I did want to mention that I set up a locals community for the channel, so over there I'm going to have some exclusive content. I already have some exclusive content prepared for you guys if you go over there right now. In the future, I'll be releasing videos over there first and then here on YouTube as kind of an exclusive perk to going over to the locals community. Now in locals, it is free to join the community. However, any support would be much appreciated. All of these videos I do out of my own pocket, and the production for them is all me. So if you want to help out the channel, supporting over on locals would be the way to do so. I don't get any money from YouTube. This has been a purely passion project for me, but I think locals would be a great way to build a more solid community around Pokemon Mega Construx and the content in general. So head on over there. The link to that will be in the description. There'll be some special surprises that I'll be throwing out to the locals community every now and then. Probably this week we'll see the first fruits of that. So I don't want to say too much about what it is, but I'm pretty excited about the prospect, and I hope you guys are intrigued as well. Now with all that said, if you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think about this series, and of course hit that like button. Helps a lot. I appreciate all of you who do these things. So without further delay, let's get right into the review. All right, so here we have Series 22. Finally doing the review for this. I know I've been busy, and so I haven't been able to do as many videos as I'd like, but that's just how things go. Now, I've got to say, this is my favorite Pokeball series we've ever gotten, by far. Now, the Sableye and Rotom, both of those are the same models that we've already gotten in previous Pokeball waves, so that's actually what you're seeing here is those previous builds, but it is the same thing as the new ones, so I'm not going to be going out and buying duplicates that I don't need. Just wanted to put that out there. Now they do come with these exact Pokeballs. I wanted to make sure the Pokeballs were the same. But other than that, we've got 3 new Pokemon and a completely amazing redesign for Mimikyu. So with the kind of overhead out of the way, let's get right into Sableye. So I'd say Sableye is done pretty well. We've got this gym up front and then these gyms in his back. That's all character accurate, so like to see that. I think we could have gotten a head overhaul here. This head doesn't really fit the character too much, and the only other thing I would have wanted is some tufts of whatever this stuff is coming out of his arms to make the character a little more accurate. Other than that, this is a perfectly fine model. I do like it quite a bit, and I keep forgetting to do the scaling comparison, so we're gonna make sure we do that here. So Pikachu is supposed to be 1 foot 4 inches and Sableye is 1 foot 8 inches, and we can see here that Sableye is just a hair taller than Pikachu. I'd say that's pretty decent for scaling, so I think Sableye definitely passes there. Overall, Sableye is a good pickup if you do not have him. I did want to make mention that this series of Pokeballs, every single Pokemon is a ghost type. Now, some of them are mixed, like Sableye is dark type / ghost, and then Rotom is electric / ghost, but they all have the ghost type in them, so I think that is really cool. I'd love to see more of that going in the future. I think this actually would have been a better wave to release in October. That would have been a lot better in my opinion. I love that it's out now, don't get me wrong, but a seasonal release would have been much more interesting and appropriate. So let's move right on to Rotom. Now for Rotom, I actually have no problem with this build at all. I think this is the perfect build. We can see the back there. We can put in a little a little prop there so that he can float. But this is literally the perfect build. I can't think of a single thing that I'd want to change. Maybe if they added in some white flare into the electricity, that would make it a little more dynamic. But other than that, like, there's nothing wrong with this. If you do not have Rotom, this is a perfect representation of that Pokemon. There's really nothing more I would personally ask from Mega Construx when making a Pokemon. So let's go ahead and do a height comparison. We can't really stand him up on his own, but Rotom is supposed to be exactly 1 foot, and of course Pikachu is 1 foot 4 inches. So they're pretty much the same height. I'd say that this Rotom passes the height check, even though he technically should be a little bit smaller than Pikachu. Look, we're dealing with buildable figures here. They can't always be a 1-to-1 match. And next up, we have one of my favorites from this wave, which is Mimikyu. And this is just really a perfect redesign. We'll do the comparison in a minute, but just look at this thing. We've got this unique piece down here that is supposed to be whatever darkness is under the sheet that Mimikyu wears. And it is just a great build. I like it a lot. I like that they made a unique piece for the tail as well. So let's take a look at the old Mimikyu. So here they are. We can see that there's a whole lot of changes that is done. I mean, the head is completely redesigned. The only thing that's the same is really just the body structure. But even then, you know, we have a new tail. We have the little rubbery piece down there. I mean, this is just a far more superior model, and I have no problem whatsoever with Mega Construx releasing a redesign like this. This is the perfect redesign, honestly. This is just a great redesign, and I like it a lot. So this Mimikyu was fine for its time, but this one is far more superior. So let's go ahead and do a height check. We can see that Mimikyu is pretty much the same height as Pikachu. However, Mimikyu is 8 inches and Pikachu has 6 more inches on Mimikyu. So technically Mimikyu should be smaller. But once again, we're talking about basic Pokemon. We're talking about the smallest Pokemon we can get. So a little bit of height inaccuracy is okay with me. So that is Mimikyu. This guy is a must-have if you are able to get him. So next up we have Phantump. And I gotta say, right off the bat, I don't really like the dead space we have in the head, but that is my main complaint with this guy. I think the rest of the head is done perfectly fine. The body is a little awkward compared to the actual character, so it would have been nice to maybe see something a little more accurate, even if they were to make like one piece for the body and then having the little arms come out from that. That would probably be better. But overall, I mean, I'm not complaining about the build so much. I think this build is decent for what this character is. It's basically a wisp of ghost with a tree stump head. So for what the Pokemon is, I think they did a decent job for building him in brick form. So let's go ahead and take a look at his height comparison. Now, it's not going to be perfect since he kind of has to be off the ground a bit, but Phantump and Pikachu are both 1 foot 4 inches, and so their height is relatively the same. If this guy wasn't elevated in the air, they would have been basically the same size. Let's see how that would work. Yep, they're pretty much the same. Pikachu's just a little bit taller with his ears, but yeah, I think that the height check definitely passed. This one is probably actually the closest in the series so far to actually pass the height check. So definitely grab yourself a Phantump if you're able to. I would definitely recommend that. I think it's a perfectly decent build. And of course, next is Dreepy. And I gotta say, that name is kind of unfortunate for the Pokemon that Mega Construx gave us. This is probably my least favorite Pokemon in this series, although I am glad they made him, and I am happy that they did something like unique pieces with the headpiece and this little piece that whatever these pink things are supposed to be, fins or whatever. The unique pieces are great. We got this unique piece as well with the 3 fins coming out. I mean, we just got a lot of nice unique pieces. As you can see, I'm trying to maneuver this character in a way that makes him look good, and he keeps on breaking. So that's just an example. He's kind of poorly designed. designed in that sense. What can you really do, though? I mean, I really hope that they don't make Dratini this way, but they probably will whenever they do release him. So some of my complaints is when you're looking Dreepy right in the face, kind of cross-eyed. It does not look becoming for him. I think that's my main criticism. I mean, I think we could have cut down on the amount of body that he has, and these are supposed to be kind of arms, but they really don't look like it at all. They look more like fins. Overall, I think they could have done a better job with this character. I mean, the tail could have been more dark green color to represent the character better as well. We kind of have a lot of stuff going on here that I don't really like a lot. But if you like him, that's great. I mean, I'm not disappointed that they made him. I'm not disappointed that I got him. I just wish he could have been a little bit better. It seems like they could have made a piece that would have worked for both Dreepy and Phantump, just different colors for it. So like a snaky like body thing for both of them could have worked. But it is what it is. Whatever these things are, horns or fins or whatever, I think they're supposed to be tucked away back there. That's what the character looks like, but they keep on popping out. I'm gonna have to open up his head and try to fix that, but it's like every time I turn around, they're coming out again and drooping, and I don't like that. But hopefully that can be fixed. Other than that, I'd say, I mean, look, we're not gonna get a better version of this character. So if you like Dreepy, if you are a collector of the different Pokemon, I mean, it's obvious you got to get this one. So as far as height goes, Dreepy is supposed to be 1 foot 8 inches, and I really don't know how they calculate that. I mean, do they calculate it from tail to head, or is it the way he's positioned when he's kind of flying in the air or whatever? I don't know. We're just gonna do it like this. We can see he's obviously taller than Pikachu. I'd say it's kind of a pass. I think I would have liked to see a little less body in this character. I think what I'll do is when I'm displaying this guy, I'll just have him like this. That'll cut down on the body a little bit, and it'll make him a little less weird looking. I think that's actually the perfect thing to do. Maybe cut down on one of the head ones too. So look, I mean, I guess more body is better than less body in this sense, that we can kind of customize the character to how we see fit. That's the positive for this guy. You can actually cut down on him. And last but not least, certainly not least, we have Greavard. And this is a great design, I gotta say. I love the design for this Pokemon. We got pretty much a whole lot of nothing going on underneath, but then we got these unique pieces, kind of like Wooloo, where we have just a drape over his whole body, and then another unique piece for his head as well. I would have liked to see Mega make a bigger candle for this character, because the candle kind of is pretty large on the actual character. We got some nice fur going down here, and a mouth that can open and close. Just a really good model for this character, I'd say. The only negative about this character in terms of accuracy is that this character's head is supposed to be much larger than the body, and in this case it's the other way around, so that's a little unfortunate. But overall, I think the design is really solid, and I like it a lot. Personally, I like it. I'll be honest, I think this design is actually better a character than the real Pokemon design. I think if Pokemon were to make him like this, he'd look better. So I'm actually not really complaining about the size differential between the head and the body. I think it looks better this way. That's just me though. Now, in terms of our scaling, Pikachu is of course 1 foot 4 inches, and Greavard is supposed to be 2 foot, and he doesn't even make it as tall as Pikachu. His candle almost gets him there, but he should be pretty much twice as big, and I think that height would have come in with the head if Mega Construx was making this character more accurate to his design. They could have left the body the same and made the head like, I don't know, 2/3 as big, make it like this tall, something like that. a little more accurate to the character is what I'm saying, and that probably would have given us that 2 feet in comparison to Pikachu's 1 foot 4 inches. That would have been accurate to the character. I think it's a decent representation of the character. I'm not going to nitpick it too much because this is coming from a Pokeball. Like, this character technically shouldn't even be in a Pokeball based on how big he is. So from what we got, this is really the best they could have done. So overall, I think this is a great design. I like it a lot, and definitely pick it up if you see one. So overall, guys, Series 22 is simply a must get if you're collecting Pokemon Mega Constructs. We really do have a stellar series here. As you can see, Dreepy, as I said before, his little things just keep on falling out there. So that's unfortunate, but once again, this is a complete ghost wave. All of these guys have the ghost typing, and I think that's really cool. I'd love to see more of the themed waves come out in the future. I think that's a great idea. In fact, I think seasonal Pokemon releases would be excellent for Mega Constructs to do. I'll talk more about that on the locals community. I'll put out a video exclusive to locals about that, about seasonal releases. Of course, Mega Constructs isn't going to do that, so it's really just for fun. But once again, head over to locals, join the community. I'm going to have exclusive content over there. I already have 2 videos that are exclusive to locals out right now, and I'm going to have more in the future. So make sure you join up there. And once again, if you're willing and interested in supporting the channel over at locals, that's the way to do it. And if you're just wanting to do the YouTube thing, comment down below. Let me know what you think of these Pokemon. Do you agree with my assessment of them? Do you disagree? Let me know. I respond to as many comments as I possibly can. Of course, like the video if you like this content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. My next video, I've already put out a teaser for it on locals, so you can check out the teaser there. I'm not going to tease it over here, so go there and get a sneak peek of what's to come. But I will see you in that unannounced video that is to come. But until then, take care.